Hi there. Welcome. Please take a seat. My name's Jeremiah. It's really nice to meet you. Yeah, you want to talk financial fear, money? Okay. We're gonna get there. Before we begin, let's start off with a nice, calming breath together. Okay? Alright, deep breath in. Good. Take a little moment to just look around the room here with me. See if you notice anything. Maybe you notice something on the wall. Pattern. Notice underneath your feet. Notice your toes. Give your toes a little wiggle. Yeah, just notice them. They're there, doing their thing. Notice your hands. Just relax your hands. Relax your shoulders. Relax your chest. Abdomen. Legs. Thighs. Calves. Relax your face. Relax your jaw. We often carry a lot of tension in our jaw. Just be with me for a moment. I really want to commend you just for coming in today. You know, it was the great Socrates, or in the words of Bill and Ted. You ever watch that movie? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Cheesy movie. Bit of a deep cut. In the words of Bill and Ted, Socrates. The unexamined life is not worth living. And I really believe that. I think it's really easy to not get into the ring with our own egos. Going to see a therapist or a doctor or any kind of self-care, especially like preventative self-care, really takes foresight, courage, openness, and a desire to grow and, be a better person. So, I commend you. And, finding the right therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, doctor, anybody it's very important. And whether or not that's going to be me or somebody else, I highly recommend the sponsor of today's video, which is our friends over at Zocdoc. Now, Zocdoc is a free website where you can go on and you can choose the right doctor or specialist for you. And they have over 150,000 individual professionals in all 50 states. And whether you're looking for a general practitioner, an optometrist, podiatrist, therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist, or any of the 200 plus specialties covered, you're going to be able to look for and find somebody who you're going to really click and connect with. And that could be face-to-face, which I do tend to recommend, but there's a time and a place for face-to-face, and there's also a time when doing it via video is going to be just as valuable and when time is, of the essence. I love doing telehealth things sometimes, you know. And the key about Zocdoc is they have thousands of verified patient reviews. So whether you're looking for, a no small talk doctor, this is very straightforward, to the point, or whether you're looking for somebody that, likes the same sports team as you do, the key is that you're going to be able to find somebody who you really like and you really trust. And when you're ready, you can see their real-time availability and click to book instantly. No phone tag, no waiting around. And typically appointments made through Zocdoc happen fast, within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. And sometimes you can even score a same-day appointment. So, if you're looking for a doctor, therapist, whatever, check out our friends below, Zocdoc.com/asmrjeremiah. And now let's get back to our money conversation. So, when you think of money, okay, what feelings first come up for you when you think of money? What feelings are associated with that? Maybe anxiety, maybe pressure, weight, maybe fear, maybe drowning. Yeah, these are all very common associations, because money is something it is one of the top 3 anxieties for almost all people. Number 1 tends to be work and job related stress. It's like the number 1 anxiety. Number 2 is often money and finance. And number 3 is relationships. Now, of course, 1 and 2 could almost be in the same thing. Work and job related stress, of course, are usually really connected with finances. And money usually hits different because it's almost like, it's like low key, always there in the background. Like financial fear, never really goes away. It's not like what are the famous, the big fears that people have are like public speaking, being pulled over by the cops. Those are 1 and 2. And don't get me wrong, they can be terrifying. But those are like short-lived spikes of fear, right? Even in a worst case scenario, let's say, you have a speaking engagement and you have a month to worry about it, or a week, whatever. It'll still be over in a month or a week, and you'll do the thing and you'll be done with it. Whereas money is just permanent, it's this low-grade fear. And our money is usually, it can be so paralyzing because it's attached to feelings of safety and security, feelings of freedom, being able to do what we want to do when we want to do them. The opposite, feeling trapped, having to do something we don't want to do when we don't want to do it. Having to go to a job, having to get X, Y, or Z done. That feeling of being dragged into something, doesn't feel good. And financial fear, to my understanding, it's a weird, human, universal, everybody has it. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are a few unicorns out there who don't have any financial fear. God bless them. May we someday be so enlightened. But for everybody else, It is. Even rich people. I know several people personally who are worth millions of dollars, and they have financial fear. You know, and how money is tied up to our and who we are. You may have heard this. There was a famous story of he was a German billionaire, Adolf Merkel, and he was like one of the top 50 richest people in the world or something. He was worth like $9 billion, something crazy. And in 2008, 2009, during the financial crash, he had lost a ton of money. He had made some bad bets with like Volkswagen or something, and I forget all the details, but he ended up losing a great deal of his fortune. But, I mean, technically, he would still have been worth like probably at least $1 billion, if not several billion. But let's say he lost, 80% of his wealth and was only worth $1 billion. And let's even take it a step further, right? Let's say he lost like 98% of his wealth and he was only worth like $100 million or whatever that is. I don't know the math. You get my point, though. The point is he took his own life, and the reason he did was not tied to the rationality of a number of money. It was because we tie up money, we associate it with who we are. At least a lot of us do. It's associated with, am I successful or not? Can I be a provider? Do I have freedom? I can really get into that weird kind of dark world of comparison. Do I have as much money as he or she does? Do I have more money than they do? Which, ironically, can be as equally toxic a conversation where, anytime we're getting into a world of comparison with somebody else, we're really missing the big picture, which is in life, the only person we can actually worry about is ourselves and our own experience, ultimately. Even our children, eventually, they grow up and become independent, and we can only be responsible for our own experience and how whatever we make things ultimately mean. And so, yeah, the money conversation is very, very complex. And I just want you to know that you're so not alone. It is something that, virtually everybody feels. Like I said, I'm sure there's a unicorn or two out there. And that fear is tied to like a deep-rooted part of being human, which is, anthropologically speaking, we humans are great at worrying about things. And it's just because, what is that? Why do we do that? It's our brain trying to protect us. It's trying to look at all the possible outcomes. It's trying to go, okay, what if? And it's trying to game it out and prepare us for all these situations. And unfortunately, it tends to focus on worst case things, and it's not our brain being mean. It was necessary. It's just part of, we wouldn't have survived otherwise. We needed to know where the bear slept, where the tiger slept. We needed to know is this plant, root, berry, mushroom, medicine, food, or poison? And it was very important to know if it was poison or not. It's the same reason why, you know, like great athletes, if they win the tournament. I remember there was an interview with Scotty Scheffler. He had like just won like the U.S. Open, and somebody asked him, how does it feel? And he's like, well, it's nice, but it's just on to the next one. The Olympian who wins the gold medal. How long does that high last? And maybe it lasts a week or a month, but eventually, we got to move on to the next thing. Whereas I think that humans can remember with shocking clarity and accuracy the mean things that were said to them, or the times that we feel like we put our foot in our mouth, or these negative experiences. Like, we're so annoyingly good at reminding ourselves of those things and not of reminding ourselves of when we're awesome and when we do something great and how wonderful we are. Like, our brains just tragically are wired to worry. And so when it comes to the financial fear, all we want to do is slow down. We're going to bring our focus to here and now. Right now, as you sit here with me, are you okay? Yes. You're okay right now in this exact moment. Nothing's going to hurt you in this exact moment. You're okay. In fact, you're taking an active step in just by being here. You're already taking an active, positive step toward action, right? Breathe. You're okay. And at the exact same time, there are things that need to be taken care of, right? It's true that simultaneously you're okay and you're not okay. And it's okay to not be okay. Is that getting too meta? You're okay and you're not okay. And it's okay that you're not okay. And that's okay. But I don't mean to make light of it. But we're going to slow down. Like I said, you are taking an active step already. You're taking the time to think about it, to just be with it. We're not going to fix anything. And right now, there's nothing to fix. You just need to find the next small step. And you don't need to find it right now. There's no rush. You can just be. And there have been moments before in your life when things felt unclear and uncertain. And yet you were able to navigate your way through it, one step at a time. Breathe. And for now, You can let your shoulders drop. You can let yourself breathe. And you can let yourself slowly, calmly find the next step that you're going to take. And there's no rush. You're going to do it because you are smart, strong, and capable, and intelligent, and witty, and fun, and resourceful. You're all those things, and capable. And it's okay to not feel okay. And you got this. So just focus on that. Letting yourself be. Breathe. You're allowed to not have all the answers. To just be here for a moment. Exactly as you are. And that's enough for tonight.